Welcome back, America. One of the gentlemen I worked with at the Department of Justice under former Attorney General Meese was Stephen Calabrese. Brilliant guy. He's a law professor at Northwestern University, former law clerk to Justice Antonin Scalia, among other things. You've been writing extensively, you've been filing briefs, and one of the briefs that you were involved in, Stephen Calabrese, was a brief with former Attorney General Edwin Meese, for whom we both worked. And you are challenging the appointment of special counsel Jack Smith under the Appointments Clause of the Constitution. Tell the American people what that's all about.
Okay, so the Appointments Clause says that principal officers have to be nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate. And Jack Smith, of course, is not a principal officer. Inferior officers can be appointed if Congress, by law, vests in the head of a cabinet department the power to appoint a senior officer. And Congress has passed no law vesting in the Attorney General the power to appoint a special counsel like Jack Smith. Congress has vested power to appoint inferior officers in the Secretaries of Energy, Education, Transportation, and HHS, but it has not done so with the Justice Department, and therefore Jack Smith's appointment is illegal and unconstitutional, and every single thing he has done since he was appointed a year and a half ago is illegal, null, and void.
I want the American people to understand your background. You used to serve as a top legal advisor to a former Attorney General of the United States. You and I worked with the Office of Legal Counsel, which is considered the legal constitutional brain trust of the federal government. You're not coming out of left field here. You're looking at the Constitution, you're looking at the statutes, and you're saying, wait a minute, this is an illegal, unconstitutional appointment. And Stephen Calabrese, the man has enormous power. He's pushing the edges of the Constitution in every direction, whether it's immunity, whether it's attorney-client privilege, whether it's due process. He's throwing all these things on the table, forcing the Supreme Court to address each and every one of them. He sure as hell is acting like somebody who has some kind of authority. So what did the Attorney General do to give him any authority?
The Attorney General has a regulation that says he can appoint independent counsels, and he invoked that regulation and cited a few irrelevant statutes. But he has no power under the Constitution to appoint Jack Smith. And in essence, by appointing Jack Smith, what he's attempting to do is prevent Donald Trump from being elected president. And it's a complete outrage. It's a sham. There is no authority whatsoever for this. The biggest problem I'm facing is that although Ed Meese and I and Gary Lawson have been raising this point in an amicus brief, President Trump's lawyer in the Supreme Court, John Sauer, has not yet made the argument. And it's very important in the upcoming presidential immunity case that John Sauer make this argument, as well as us making it in an amicus brief, because the court may otherwise say that the issue isn't raised by the party to the case. So that would be one very important thing that could help.
And Congress knows how to do this. You just pointed out with other departments who did exactly this. And if there's an inherent power for a cabinet secretary to make these kinds of appointments, then why would Congress have passed these statutes in the first place? You're exactly right. Nobody conferred the power on the Attorney General of the United States to appoint a special counsel with this kind of power. Go right ahead.
If he could appoint a special counsel with this kind of power, he could appoint 100 special counsels to investigate people who he doesn't like. And you got to remember that Jack Smith was a private citizen when Merrick Garland lifted him off the street and gave him the power to prosecute Donald Trump. And the power to lift a private citizen off the street and turn them, in effect, into a U.S. attorney is a formidable power and a very dangerous power. There is a way in which attorney generals can appoint independent counsels. They can designate Senate-confirmed U.S. attorneys to act as an independent counsel outside of the district that the U.S. attorney is appointed in. So, for example, Patrick Fitzgerald, who was the U.S. attorney for the Northern District of Illinois, prosecuted Vice President Cheney's chief of staff, Scooter Libby, in the D.C. District Court. That is constitutional. Naming a U.S. attorney to be a special counsel is permissible. What the Attorney General can't do is lift private citizens off the street or employees of the Justice Department and make them special counsels.
Well,